Prince of Arran flew. With the plan after Saudi Arabia had been to run in the Dubai Gold Cup. His owners are from Dubai. It's been a real bogey race for Prince of Arran so far, and all that, despite the conditions of the race and the track being absolutely ideal. So it was. It's a race that I've always wanted that we've targeted every year, and I was absolutely. We wanted to go there again this year because I know he can run well in it. And so that had been the plan. He was all actually on course. But with all of this going on, we've been quite worried. And I've been in constant dialogue with the Dubai Racing Club, making sure that it was going to go ahead. And absolutely green light, we're racing, don't worry. Borders closed 2 days before he was due to fly, the day before Kelly was due to fly. And a group of the lads went to the airport the day before, got turned away. So alarm bells then are really starting to ring. And we're like, guys, is this really going to go ahead? Yeah, absolutely going ahead. And Cash Eaton, who normally travels with the horse and has been to Australia with him every time and adores the horse, had already said, boss, I'm really sorry, but I don't want to go. I don't want to get stuck in Dubai. So please can you send someone else? And I was like, absolutely, that is absolutely fine. I know how much you love the horse. It must really mean you must be really worried. No problem. So I opened it up to the rest of the lads. Said, is there anyone who wants to put their hand up and go to Dubai with Prince of Arran? And Kelly, who had been to Saudi with him, put her hand up and said, yeah, I'm very happy to go. And I was like, look, don't worry. You're not going to get stuck out there. I promise you we'll get you home. We've got assurances, like, you'll be fine. And so she very kindly, sweetly said, yeah, I'm going to go. Anyway, we managed to get her and Prince of Arran out on a flight. They landed, all hunky-dory. He's taken the flight, great as always. And they have a couple of days trotting. And then on the Sunday, he's due to go and have a canter on the Monday out on the track. And Sunday afternoon, I'm in my kitchen. And I've just got back from hospital, having spent a week in hospital with my newborn son who had complications. And I get a panicked phone call from Kelly saying the racing is off, all the borders are closed. I've been looking for flights. I can't get a flight out of here. I'm going to get stuck here for the next couple of months. And obviously, I was slightly alarmed by this, and I felt, I was a bit worried. I felt guilty because I'd encouraged her to go. It was my call to send the horse, and I was incredibly worried that she's only 24 years old. I think 24. I might be slightly wrong on that, but she's around that age, and I was very worried that she was going to get stuck out there, and obviously the horse as well. But she was my main concern. Anyway, we were fine. And it took one probably quite stroppy phone call on my part, and I'm happy to admit that it probably I wasn't as polite as I could have been, but I was pretty upset and I was pretty worried about her. And we were on a flight straight out there, and she was fine. She flew out of Abu Dhabi the next day, and the horse flew back a couple of days later. So all's well that ends well, and they're back now. But it just. We were out there for 3 days. Horses flew in from Japan. Horses flew over from England. There was another batch of horses to fly over from England and France. And everyone had got there to be told, actually, no, it's not going ahead. And it's not so much about the horses. The horses will be fine. They get over. But it's the lads and the young lasses who, for a brief moment, probably thought that they were going to get stuck in Dubai. And that's not very comfortable. I just felt that maybe a decision could have been made before everyone travelled all the way out there. That was my only gripe with the whole situation. I just felt that a lot of lads and lasses weren't taken into consideration. So what makes Prince of Arran a globe-trotting horse is that he doesn't really give a stuff, to be honest. That's like he for Dubai, like, this is how amazing he is. He flew on the Thursday or the Friday, and he returned home the following Wednesday or so, So that's a flight there and a flight back. Normally, horses would lose quite a lot of weight on both flights because it's quite a lot of time without eating regularly and maybe not drinking as much as they should be. Prince of Arran came back heavier for his trip out there. Like, he is so laid back. He's highly intelligent. And so when he travels to these different places, it's almost like a pick-me-up. He loves the change of scenery. He loves the new surroundings. And he finds it interesting, and he gets, I think, bored staying in one place at all the same time. So not only is he highly intelligent, but he's also very relaxed. He takes everything in his stride, and in Tash, who has done the majority of his travelling with him, he has a partner who adores him, knows him inside out, and is extremely thorough, and treats him the way I would treat him if I was travelling him. So that's what has made him so good. I'm certain that it has a little bit to do with the way I've trained him, because I'm not very hard on them. I allow them to come along in their own time, and I've had a lot of good success, not just with him, but with other horses abroad. We've had winners in Dubai. I've had good results in America, and my first listed winner was in Ireland. And it's been travelling horses has been a success for me, and I'm sure it's to do with the way that I train them, and that they are taught to relax and be happy. And so therefore, when they change, their environment is changed, they take it in their stride rather than they get too worked up about it. And Prince of Arran is number one example in that. We're waiting to hear what's happening with British racing. I'd wanted to run him in the Gold Cup at Ascot and have another crack at that. He ran very, very well in it a few years ago, where he travelled as well as anything and looked like he was going to be in the shake-up when Big Orange and Order of St George had that wonderful battle down the straight. And although we probably wouldn't have got near them, we might have finished in the 3 or 4 had he stayed. But he didn't quite get home that day. But he's about 3 or 4 years older now. He's a completely different horse mentally. And we might just have a look at the Gold Cup again if it goes ahead. Who knows whether it's going to go ahead or what's going to happen, and have a crack at 2.5 miles. James felt the other day in Saudi Arabia that he was staying all day and that having a crack over 2.5 miles wouldn't be a stupid idea. And he loves Ascot. Ascot is one of the few tracks in England that he's run well at. So that would be the number one target for him. And then back to Australia, and quite what we do in the build up to that, I don't know. We probably have 2 runs in Australia before the Melbourne Cup, and maybe a run or 2 back in England. But what we run in, I don't know. Maybe the September Stakes at Kempton. He likes Kempton, and then down to Australia, and 2 runs in Australia. He's 7 years old now. Takes a bit of getting fit, and so he needs a few runs to get him absolutely spot on for the big one.